Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Maciek, and on this channel I look at design practice issues. I'm a product designer and I will try to show them to you as best as possible. I'm discussing methodological, technological, psychological and other more or less logical issues. Although a lot is said about design, few people know how complex the process is. I would like to dedicate it to the people who are not directly involved in the designing but have an impact on its course of action. I believe that by breaking stereotypes, I will contribute to the promotion of knowledge about the true face of design. Let's meet the designing matters together. Beginning of a designing process. In the previous talk, I have discussed the way of material goods selection due to their impact on the environment. However, I wouldn't like to suggest that this is a channel strictly for environmental protection issues. Each of the designer's decision is more or less noticeable in our environment, which we would like to arrange for our needs as well as protect for future generations. Let's look now at the definition of design. This one I created myself as a synthesis of how various dictionaries and guides define design. The aim of the designer activities is to create an object or system that is consistent in terms of its function, technology, aesthetics, their market potential, and environmental impact within the scope of the available budget and business plan. Due to their complexity, design services are often based on creative cooperation of a group of specialists. First of all, you should be aware of who you are designing for. It is not an issue directly included in any design definition, and it is absolutely crucial for a designer. I warn you in advance that the answer "I design for myself" turns us automatically from designers into modelers or DIY enthusiasts, without diminishing in any way those who describe themselves as such. The designer designs for himself only indirectly, placing the target recipient and the client needs first, because it is the client who takes the business risk by accepting the project for himself. The client will locate the project in some sales reality. A good project, placed or distributed inappropriately, will not be noticed or appreciated. It is worth mentioning that the advisory role of the designer is also very helpful to the client. The designer contact with the client and target audience is therefore crucial, and both parties should make it as effective as possible. This effort takes the time and attention of several parties involved in the project, and one should not dream about fast and spectacular overnight effects. When starting the process, we must realize what the essence of the project really is. It can be an object, a service, an algorithm, a system, or artistic work. Sometimes it is just a few of them, and the client does not realize how complex is the process, even if designers know it. One should be aware that many people see designer as a person who is only doing nice drawings and thinks only about the look. The mental process is not visible and not easy to describe. Also, one have to know that the visuals shown to the client are the result of many other drawings, mock-ups, models, mind maps, and pre-renderings, which are enormously time-consuming to reach the point when it's worth to present. We can imagine the design of a device, the production of which requires the creation of an operating algorithm or a control system, and then it will not be just the visual design of the object. It is something that also has a measurable value and also requires design and may not be sufficiently included in the order or contract. Usually, during the design process, customer requirements evolve due to the level of customer awareness or second thoughts during the design process. This must be regulated on an ongoing basis with the client, because the more he introduces additional ideas to the process and the more often he changes his mind, the more haunting the process becomes. It is not good for the project when the designer is not up to date with the time control of the project. One should be a kind of a moderator here and control the process in order to react when it deviates too often from the main idea. It is not advisable for the order or contract when it covers the project scooter, but ending up with the prototype of a car or even worse, a balloon, unless a customer pays well and on time, and both parties are satisfied of the result. Generally, however, the customer should not step on the designer's head to prevent the designing process being blocked and project derailed. And here we smoothly move to something that is extremely important for the work of a designer and concerns the client and his order. You should pay attention to ask if the client has created a project plan for his venture and has specified a budget for it. For the designer, it also sets a firm and vivid framework for one's actions and a point of reference for decision makers in the work over the project. Too open framework of the venture means that it can go practically in any direction and there will be a problem of an insufficient client control over the venture. Elements of such project plan, in a nutshell, are product background and the reasons for creation, needs fulfilled by it, key function it should have, etc. Market information with the competitors named, similar products described, and also what marketing activities are planned for this project globally and locally. Location of the project development activities. People who will be involved in it on every stage of the project. Financing sources description with budgeting for each stage. Measures of success according to SMRIT project judgment criteria. Gantt chart of project development. Monthly cash flow projection with expenditure comments. The more detailed the plan will be, the less doubts and general problems along the project development. The client simply needs to know what he wants, and this is a kind of guarantee that the project is well thought, financed, and the client knows what he is striving for and what is the key issue and the side issue. He knows what to pick on and what is not worth fighting in the process, what to decide for yourself and what to leave for others to decide. It should be also added that the designer who thinks himself of a professional does not want projects that are unprofitable for the client. It is a matter of subsequent orders and professional reputation, because you have it only one, and jobs you can have many. One of the first tasks in designing process is a research stage, when the designer gathers or deepens unnecessary knowledge about the issues he will be working on. Due to the often complex issues faced by the designer during realization of the project, it is important that he has the opportunity to contact specialists in the necessary areas of expertise. It is crucial that the designer has easy contact with the client's employees. As an external consultant, the designer has less resistance resulting from the employee-employer relationship, and it's often easier for him to get along with the employees on issues related to the project and its requirements. If the principal of such employee does not have specialists, he must be aware that the designer will have to consult his experts, who will also have to be paid for a consultation, which has an impact on the budget of the project. Employee of the client which is described to collaborate with the designer should be informed about the project plan and the scope of tasks they will perform and a range of permission given to a designer. Ideally, if it is a production manager or someone with similar range of authority already accustomed with NPD process. The next necessary condition for an employee working with creative professionals is a capability of working in a non-linear process, as many people are not ready to follow it. It is very characteristical for creative work to be in non-linear mode, which most of the people are not capable to maintain and do not feel comfortable with. The difficulty here comes from the tendency of concentrating on the reaching of a final result fast from the beginning of the venture, whereas the creative professionals are concentrating on the process which leads to the final result and do not mind changes in the process, reformulating tasks, testing, checking, reapproving, and so on. Healthy collaboration with specialists in various fields facilitates the progress of the project. Specialized designers often have their own group of proven technologists with whom they establish ad hoc cooperation. This has a significant impact on the client's project from the point of view of business experience. Imagine a production plant that is relatively new, and despite of the efforts of recruiters, it does not have sufficient know-how among employees. Collaborative and proven external specialists can make a significant progress to the process, saving time, resources, money, and nerves during the development of a successful project. These were only a few issues to make the beginning of cooperation more smooth and less problematic in the rest of the process. If you have any other suggestions, please leave a comment. I am curious if you have your own way to make a smooth start with your client.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for listening. I tried to raise the subject and make you aware. I'm happy to contact with those of you experienced in the topic and perhaps continue it in another podcast. Do not hesitate to leave a feedback on this episode. Leave me a thumb up if you find this channel valuable. Please share it through the network and hit subscribe button to not to miss the next episode. Until next time.